Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we head into the stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines.
25th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting formally opens in London. 5 dead in industrial accident at a rubber factory in Horana. Japan likely to restrict importing Sri Lanka tea. Sri Lanka's cascaded tank village system awarded globally important agricultural heritage site title.
Today marks the first day of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting 2018 in London. The week begins with 4 forum events bringing together representatives from the world's business, civil society and government. The formal opening at Buckingham Palace saw the participation of Queen Elizabeth II.
The 25th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting started today officially at 10 a.m. London time. The formal opening was hosted by the Queen, accompanied by the Prince of Wales and the members of the royal family.
Queen Elizabeth, who turns 92 on Saturday, welcomed leaders from the 53 Commonwealth nations to Buckingham Palace for 2 days of talks that will include discussions on trade, marine protection and tackling cybercrime. In her opening speech, Queen Elizabeth spoke of her own extraordinary journey as head of the Commonwealth, which started under her father, King George VI, with the London Declaration of 1949.
Put simply, we are one of the world's great convening powers, a global association of volunteers who believe in the tangible benefits that flow from exchanging ideas and experiences and respecting each other's point of view. And we seem to be growing stronger year by year. The advantages are plain to see. An increasing emphasis on trade between our countries is helping us all to discover exciting new ways of doing business. By continuing to treasure and reinvigorate our associations and activities, I believe we will secure a safer, more prosperous and sustainable world for those who follow us. A world where the Commonwealth's generosity of spirit can bring its gentle touch of healing and hope to all. Mindful, as always, that this summit of Commonwealth leaders draws its mandate and authority from our member countries collectively, it gives me great pleasure to declare this meeting of the Commonwealth Heads of Government open.
British Prime Minister Theresa May, the summit host, paid tribute to Queen Elizabeth's service to the Commonwealth at the opening ceremony.
As young people from our many nations gather and contribute their views, our responsibility as leaders is to ensure their voices are heard and to build a Commonwealth that we can be proud to hand on to the next generation. For in the Commonwealth, we have an incredible opportunity. An opportunity to show just what can be achieved through coordinated action and cooperation, to seize the possibilities open to us as member countries, and together to take on some of the 21st century's biggest questions.
Later this evening, President is to attend the dinner hosted by Queen Elizabeth at Buckingham Palace. The Chogam Leaders' Retreat will be held tomorrow at Windsor Castle, marking the official end of Chogam 2018.
Five people died in a tragic industrial accident this afternoon at a rubber factory in Ballapitiya, Horana. Police media spokesperson SP Gunasekara this evening confirmed the arrest of the manager of the factory of reckless operations.
At around 1:20 this afternoon, an employee at the rubber factory had fallen into an ammonia tank at the premises. SP Gunasekara said 4 others who rushed to his rescue had also died.
lunch and one person yelled, saying that 2 people have fallen inside. The others went to see them, and one by one they fell in because the gas was strong.
3 outsiders have fallen in and died. All the employees were taken to hospital in 3-wheelers.
15 people who fell unconscious following the incident were rushed to the Horona hospital for treatment. Hospital Superintendent Thamara Kalubovila said one of them is being treated in the ICU. Among those admitted are 2 women, and the bodies of the victims have been placed at the hospital morgue for the post-mortem examination.
The rupee edged up after tumbling to a record low yesterday, with dollar demand from importers counteracting selling of US currency by exporters.
The rupee hit an all-time low of 156 rupees and 50 cents intraday and plunged even further to 156 rupees and 35 cents before recovering slightly to close at 156 rupees and 30 to 40 cents on Wednesday. According to the central bank, the rupee has weakened 2% against the US dollar up to April 5th this year. The rupee has also depreciated 4.8% against the euro, 6.4% against the sterling pound and 7.1% against the Japanese yen. The rupee fell 2.5% last year and 3.9% in 2016. Economists say the downward trend of the Sri Lankan rupee will continue for some time due to the shortage of foreign currency in the market.
Sri Lanka's balance of payments has been in crisis from about, say, 2010 onwards. Because we have a massive trade deficit which has not been supported by remittances and other. There were no any effective measure taken by the government to attain substantial results. So as a result, the exports have not been performing well, even though there has been a slight improvement in year 2017, despite the fact that Sri Lanka had a massive import bill, creating a larger trade deficit in the balance of payments. So as a result, there is a shortage of foreign currency in the market, and this shortage should from time to time put pressure for Sri Lanka rupee to depreciate. The one reason is that in March, usually there is always a heavy inflow of foreign exchange to country by way of remittances by Sri Lankans working abroad. To enable their relatives in Sri Lanka to celebrate the New Year. And after the end of the New Year, this particular flow starts coming down. And at the same time, the import bills which the importers have placed before the New Year are now being paid by the banks. So as a result, there's a shortage of foreign exchange, and this shortage has put pressure on the Sri Lanka rupee to depreciate unless the central bank puts dollars from its own reserves.
Reuters citing dealers said they expect the rupee to gradually weaken and face higher volatility this year due to huge debt repayments commitments by the government.
News of a possible cap on Japanese imports of tea from Sri Lanka has surfaced recently, with the use of MCPA chemicals above Japan's stipulated limit said to be the reason.
With the ban imposed on glyphosate locally, large-scale farmers now resort to using the chemical MCPA to destroy weeds in the tea industry. Japan has placed strong regulations against foods that contain this chemical. Exporters state that as of now, a number of shipments sent to Japan have already been rejected and returned, citing the overuse of this chemical. The tea board has already elaborated that any ban potentially placed on Sri Lanka by Japan could affect the European market too.
This problem has arisen because of the banning of glyphosate. Because there is no alternate to it, these are the results we are facing. Japan has said that within their country, even if there is a trace of MCPA, that the stock will be rejected. Japan looks at their hygiene factor even more than nations in the European Union. For now, we have informed large-scale plantation companies that firm action will be taken if they use MCPA. Japan has shown that they are happy with these developments. We have reduced the risk for now.
A Sri Lankan agrarian system, the Lanka Vavagammana or cascaded tank village system in the dry zone, was designated as a globally important agricultural heritage system by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations.
Village system in the dry zone in Sri Lanka.
The cascaded tank village system in Sri Lanka was recognized at the International Forum and Awards Ceremony for new GIAHS sites in Rome, Italy. An Lanka system can be identified as a series of wavers that are feeding water to a bigger waver in the village based on the topography of the area. These wavers thereby are not mere tanks where water is being stored, but they create a whole different ecosystem for flora and fauna as well as human beings. Recent studies into the Lanka system have shown that the smaller wavers in the system acted as a filter similar to a kidney. Identifying and recognizing the importance of the irrigation system, Newsfirst recently carried out an extensive research into the Lanka system in the Bellankadavela area in Anuradhapura. In the research that was carried out with the support of the Peradeniya University, our teams were able to uncover many facts regarding the Lanka system. The UN has recognized this same Lanka system as one of the globally important agricultural heritage systems. With the new sites, there is a total of 50 globally recognized agricultural heritage systems in 20 countries. According to the FAO, this initiative aims to protect and promote valuable agricultural heritage, preserve biodiversity and traditional knowledge, as well as create resilient ecosystems.
In Sri Lanka, agriculture is a traditional practice, and most of the people engage in agriculture, and they use traditional varieties, traditional practices, and also they use different cultivation systems. In Sri Lanka, some of these processes are still maintained, but then we have improved our agriculture practices and we are losing some of these traditional practices. This cascading water tank system is very specific to Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, we have more than 5,000 active cascade systems, and in this designated system, we have something like 70 tanks, and out of that 70 tanks, about 50 tanks are actively providing water for farmers to cultivate paddy and other commodities. And this area covers something like 17,000 hectares.
Today is a very special day for Sri Lankans because this is the first time we had this offer as a globally important agricultural heritage system for the first time in Sri Lanka, and also that is the 39th in the world. It's a very sustainable system. It's a cluster of tanks which are really exchanging their all grievances like water deficit, water excess, and also it can face natural disasters like flood, drought, and epidemics, cyclones, and also in the face of climate change. Currently, the program organized by Sirasa as Gammadda, Gamingamata, Vavambavata, and they have done a comprehensive study on this, and they came up with a lot of information regarding this sustainable structure of this system, and they found that people are really having a very strong relationship with nearby cascades also. That's the first time we have heard the relationships between cascades.
Speaker Karujar Surya stated that one cannot expect development in a divided, ill-disciplined nation. The Speaker made these remarks addressing an event at the Parliamentary Complex earlier today.
The Parliamentary Committee on Communal and Religious Harmony met this evening under the patronage of many religious leaders.
A country divided will always decline. We have seen the state of these countries in the world today. These countries have no future. Further, what we see is that a household, a village, a locality or a country with discipline always develops. When that doesn't happen, there is decline. We
must allow children of all communities to learn under one roof at all schools. There is a fall in the number of Tamil classes at Royal College. There are less Tamil classes than Sinhala classes. Only when there is an increase in the number of Tamil classes will Sinhalese and Tamil children learn to live together. I spoke to the Education Minister too. I have to tell the truth that the response was, "Oh, it is difficult for us to change things. I kindly request all religious leaders to help me in this endeavour."
මට ආගමික නායකවරුන් මට මේකට සම්පූර්ණ සහාය ලබා දෙන්න.
The Sri Lankan athletes who won medals at the 21st Commonwealth Games in Australia were felicitated today in Colombo. The event was graced by Minister of Sports Faisal Mustafa.
The felicitation ceremony took place at the Duncan White Auditorium at the Ministry of Sports. Former Sports Minister Dasiri Jayasekara was a notable attendee of this event. The 21st Commonwealth Games took place in Gold Coast, Australia. The sporting event is considered only to be second to the Olympics. Athletes from 71 countries competed in 275 events for 19 sports disciplines across 11 days, and Sri Lanka sent a strong contingent of 80 sportsmen and women. At the Games, Sri Lanka won 1 silver medal and 5 bronze medals, the highest ever recorded by the island nation at any Commonwealth Games.
I was not able to bid farewell at the ministry due to the sudden decision that was made. This is my farewell to you, and this also is a time when Sri Lankan sports made a remarkable achievement. Minister Mustafa is one who listens very carefully and thinks wisely over the activities at his ministry. I will be behind him as a brother.
I did not call for this meeting to assume duties. This is a temporary appointment. We suffered from terrorism for 3 decades. Sport is the ideal way to foster coexistence. We need to build ties with sporting bodies. Through that we can achieve more victories. I believe your awards and prizes will be given by the President. It is not a shortcoming of this ministry.
Now shifting our attention to one of the local stories, the recently appointed Politburo of the United National Party convened at Temple Trees this evening. Here's what the UNP MPs and ministers expressed to the media following the meeting.
The main issue we discussed was how we are to provide strong concessions to the people than what is given to them at present. Every matter is related to restructuring the party. Restructuring is being discussed solely because of the opinion given by the people at the recent election. The people have requested for more concessions to them and more difficulties to the rulers. We are all of that view. As rulers, we will suffer more and take all decisions that would benefit the people of the country. He has the capability of strengthening the media-related matters of the party. We will work cordially with Minister Mangala Samarveera, and we believe he will carry out this task successfully. It was given some time back. It was decided to appoint new office bearers before the 30th of April as part of the restructuring process. The office bearers were not finalized today. It will be discussed further and will be announced at the next working committee meeting.
MPs and ministers were seen visiting Temple Trees this morning as well.
We attended a tea party. Political affairs did not take place here. Organizers and MPs were invited for New Year celebrations today.
It is reported a group of UNP MPs had requested to appoint UNP MP Mujibur Rahman as the Deputy Speaker of Parliament following the position left vacant by Tilanga Somathipala. A UNP MP noted the request will be made in writing bearing the signatures of 27 members and it will be handed over to the party leadership. Tilanga Somathipala has been accepted for a national scholarship for a PhD program at Beijing Foreign Studies University by the Confucius Institute headquarters of China. It was presented to him when he toured China recently.
Now that's a wrap of Primetime News. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.